I don't know why my page is acting up today, but my internet was. We just got back last night, and it was acting up weird last night too. So I do know this: they're working on it in my neighborhood, and that's no fun. I'm gonna say, hey, could you just suspend my bill when you're working on it? Don't charge me the full thing because it's not working. So I think it's back on now. Looks like it's clicking. So apologize for all the little bumps and jumps, but it is internet, so it's hard to, you know, everybody thinks they can trust it. Um, Probably be just as good to be going through a cell tower today as trusting somebody with a landline, huh? And this is not necessarily a landline. This is a fiber optic cable, which should not be slow. I pay enough for it, so we'll get a phone call today from me and say, hey, what do I pay you guys for? I'm forgetting. Oh yeah, that. Oh shucks. Okay, so I'm gonna grab a little bit of this quinacridone gold over here and just throw it in there just like that. Maybe just a touch of that up in here, just for that. And I think this flower is done. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna put a bee with that, and that'll be a fun little painting. And so I'm gonna quit. If I came in. He says, I always say this. So why does he do that? He says he's going to quit. And then he picks up one more pen and goes back and does one more thing. Does it every time. So here it is. Here's my every time right here. I'm going to put a little differentiation between that leaf right there and this one, just coming out to a point. And then I want some little speckles in there, just falling in there like so. And is it okay that bled into my blue? Yeah, it doesn't bother me. If it bothers the person who's going to buy it, they won't buy it. If it doesn't bother them, they may say, I love how that just ran away. That's a pretty cool looking little daisy, even if I did paint it myself. A Rudbeckia. Started with a little bit of water. Remember, it's a little bit of water, and then it's color. That's how I sort of paint all the time. You know what would be good in there is a little bit of gray too, just down in here, just to maybe bring that dark in just a little bit more on this side. Looks like a little landscape back there somewhere. Boop. Why did he put that over there? Well, there's a little bush over there. That's green. Get rid of some of that. Okay. All right, so there's that. Once this dries right here, I could do a big old bee on there. That'd be a fun little piece to do. I found it. And maybe that's a good capture for my bee. We just got 5G and it's horrible, so slow. Yeah, I just went through my internet company. They credited us for an entire month of sketching. Yeah, they're gonna hear from me today, Denise. So I'm going like, hey, and great flower. It does need a bee, so I'm gonna do a bee on there when this dries. But I got a few more minutes. Just gonna show you something that I did too, and let's go from there. All right. Any more questions? I'll pop a couple in. Nope, still holding there. It was pens and it was biggest paper. Hard to paint on large paper. I'm telling you, it is really difficult because of the water issue and to get my style. Look, I think if I were doing landscapes and I were doing a 2-inch brush, lots of water, and I were on an easel and not in a rush, but in a place where I didn't have a place to let a piece of paper lay for 30 minutes or 40 minutes or an hour and dry, I had to pull these off my desk and stick them to the wall. They originally wanted me to paint on the wall. I'm going like, I don't think you understand the principle of watercolor, because to paint on the wall with watercolor means that I do a painting here, and he goes, it's all down there. That's a great painting, but it's all piled up on the floor. You ever see a pile up of water? That's what happens. It's called a puddle. All right, so this is going to get a bee on it, and I'll turn it loose today in an auction. But let me paint something else for you just real quickly here, and do something fun. Here, let me just get a piece of this. I'll do this in honor of my job this weekend, which was a job, but it was a fun job to have. And I'm going to do it with an 07. Makes me want to paint a flower. Which company makes French gray? Karen Walker McAllister Jordan. I'm sure there's a ton of companies that make French gray, but the company that I use is Cheap Joe's Art Stuff. It's called American Journey. And it used to be Harbor Gray, and they changed it to French gray, and I really do like it. I like French gray. I like titanium, buff titanium, and I like titanium white. Some people do China white. Look, the paper is white, and this is extremely white. You can actually see a difference between here and even my other paper. But I think that really works well. Puddle painting, Pat says. I can put puddle on there. Noodle, doodle, fiddle, puddle, duddle. Anyway, Pat, I hope the folks like the book. I told them you had illustrated it. I said, hey, a friend of mine that we've never met in person. It's like a lot of these people that I work with in marketing and never meet them. And then, I've been talking to this sweet lady named Jordan who'd been helping me through the process of getting there and getting places for Carolina to stay and all the details, and walked in, and she's just hard working, just jumped in, and she's flying. And so Carol was there, and Carol goes, look, I know how to do that. I'll do that. And she goes, well, no, she goes, no, I'm not. I'm here to work. And so it was really fun for us to be there and help them. I took everything I could possibly take, except it reminded me of that painting that I did a few weeks ago about the kitchen sink. So, all right. So let's grab a piece of music here and just something that would be kind of fun. Coastal Gray is another gray. Yes, Coastal Fog is another one. What type of service did you say you have? I'm on fiber optic, and it's anyway. Hello from Scotland, Koshi Irene Mary. Thank you for just popping in. Love to have you here this morning. Need something that's got a guitar player in it here. Let's see. That's too slow. There's an old jazz guitar. I'll use that. All right, so here's a little drawing for you, and I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm going to paint this now, and I'll doll it up a little bit. Is there such a word as that? I think so, maybe. Paint too many electric cars. There's a reason for that, huh? This was in lieu of with the band that I'm doing here. So we'll do this guy. We'll take him down here, put his leg out here like this. So think of doing this for 4 hours. This is what I did on Saturday, but also think of being able to do these rapidly so that people could stand there just for a minute or two before they lost their, you guys are patient. You're put up with my rambunctious storytelling and all for an hour. So I did this so that people could see how these things come together, and trying to say it the whole time, don't sweat it, just be loose, do this, have fun. And so that was kind of a fun thing to do. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to drop some water in there, just like so. It's watercolor, right? I'm painting with water first. Oh my gosh, he's already running out of the lines. He's doing exactly what he said he was going to do. Pull a little bit like that in, come down here underneath the guitar, push this in a little bit, right in here. Don't know what colors he's going to be yet. Just put a swipe or two there. So, and let's see. Let's do a little blue. Of course, I love blue. I love this. This is French blue. It's called ultramarine, but we call it French blue because we believe that every other door in Paris is painted in this color. Love it when I see it. All right. Sue Harrison, good afternoon from West Yorkshire. Love it. Thank you for being on the show today. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Need a little bit of this gold around here, just like this. That's a cool color right there. Quinacridone gold. I like that kind of shot. I'm going to go grab a little bit of red up here. I've washed my brush out between each color. Why? Because I don't want to be painting mud pies a little later. Turning this around. Why did he just turn it? The reason people ask me, I get this question a lot, especially from people who've been taught in school to tape everything down in one direction. You know, make sure you tape your paper down so it doesn't slip. And I'll go, no, I want it loose. I've got another hand for holding it if I need it. I want this paper loose. Here's why. I want to be able to turn it around. This would be, think about this. If this were still like this, I'd have to go in here and paint like you left-handers, which God bless you, I don't know how you do it. But I'd have to paint like this, and then I'd have to paint, push it. Like, if I turn it like this is my natural stroke. I just pull up and down and paint, and I'm finished with it, like this. And you go like, hey, I know where this is going. I can paint with that. All right? So, same thing sometimes when I do the comb or the beak. Look at this, put a little bit of this gamboge on my brush, just a little on the point of this brush. Come in here, now I've turned it again, just like this, and just bring it to me like this. Look, and I can also just, instead of just globbing it in there, I can leave a little white space in there. Acetone brushes, when they have paint and water in them, they come to a very clean point. I could do this with one of my American Journey brushes there, again, from Cheap Joe's. This would have been a great one to do that with. But I already had this one in my hand. And why fight City Hall? Okay? I'm going to go up in the red and just get a little bit of that, let some orange bleed down, just like so. I'm going to show you how I'm going to bring one of my pens back in here in a second. Maybe a little touch of this gold coming in. And here's where I might pick up a little bit of that French gray. Here it is right here. Just going to grab some and come in here and just make it work like this with a little bit of that gold in it. I think he needs a little bit of a royal amethyst right in here underneath. Just, I always call this the part where Saturday, I say yesterday, it feels like a young lady I said, we need to finish in one color that you love. What is it? We're going to throw it in there. And she said, purple is my favorite color. And I said, how about royal amethyst? And she said, amethyst is my birthstone. She's a little bitty girl. I go, yes. So she dipped the brush in amethyst and she took off. And I said, this finishing that. Then you've got to say, I did this and we signed it. And it was pretty cool. This little boy named Reed, and I had him sign the painting, Rue and Reed. And so we both helped. It was pretty fun. So, you just get out there and you mix it up. And it's a great way to have fun. All right. All right, so there he is coming together. It's pretty cool, huh? Not bad. Could I come in on that a little closer for you? Or could I make sure it's focused? That'd probably be the best thing to do, wouldn't it? Let me get this out of the way and pull this over and make sure. Yeah, it's pretty close. That's pretty good right there. That's pretty good. You can see that pretty doggone well. Okay, shaky little guitar, and I still got 15 minutes to go. The guitar should be, of course, if he's a rock and roller, there's only one way to do the guitar, and that's going to be in turquoise. That's going to be the one, by the way. This one's going to be kind of close. He's going to be looking in the opposite direction. I didn't want him to be identical to the one I painted for the original hot chicken restaurant in Woodstock, Georgia. And they're doing another, I think they're going to do 3 or 4 of these restaurants across the southeast. And so I've been invited back to paint at those. So that should be kind of fun. I'll keep you posted where it is. If I'm in your neck of the woods, you can come over and say, hey. That'd be fun. All right, so that's pretty cool. I think the headpiece on this guitar should also be turquoise. Yeah, that's pretty awesome right there. And I think I'm going to take that kind of gold color and make the neck out of that. Let's see. Now, here's where I'm going to switch brushes because that one's a little too big for what I'm doing. Let's grab this little number 3 American Journey brush, catch some of this color right here, and just bring the neck in just with a little bit of that color right there. So you can see the fret bars when I finish. And also the tailpiece. I think I'm going to have the tailpiece just sort of gold. And I'm going to have the pickup on this guitar gold. That's called the pickup right there. So that's kind of fun, okay? Now let's take a 5 maybe. Yeah, and put some frets on here. Frets down here are closer together, and then as they go up the neck, they start spreading out like so. And then they had some little dots in them. What are the dots for? Well, they 1 at 3, 2 at 5, 2 at 7, one at 9 to, you know, so you got to know those things. There's some strings sticking out on the guitar like that. Grab a little bit of this gold again and come in right here, create some fingers coming down. I think I want to go back to that gray. I kind of like that gray, so I'm going to push a little gray in there so he's picking down on the guitar. And then let's come back in with a pen and just put some loose fibers and feathers and give him a little bit of action. We'll give him a little orange up in his comb, and then down in here. All right, so you see him starting to come together. He's got a pretty cool look. He's got my style of my wonky cartoon-looking guitar. I want to mix a little bit of paint here in the few minutes I got left. I'm going to do this. I'll tell you what I'm going to do with this rooster. He's going to be a giveaway on Wednesday. Wednesday, I'm going to give this painting away. So if you're paying attention, write yourself a note. All you have to do is you just have to simply show up. You don't even have to show up. You just have to open the page, and if you're willing, share the page. You don't have to do that, but if you would, I appreciate it. Share the page and just make a comment. And you don't have to. Don't do a piece of clip art. Please don't do a GIF or a photo. Thank you for that. It blows the page out. So when I'm trying to scroll and draw the numbers, that's why I don't do it on auctions. So thanks for honoring that silly little thing. I know it seems like, well, he's so selfish. Now, there's a reason behind most of the silly stuff that I do. And maybe some reasons. There's a reason. All right. So anyway, but all you have to do, and I'll draw a name. It's Carol. It's Yaya's birthday on Wednesday the 1st. And so I will, I'll say, hey, we got to give away a painting today, and I'll spin the computer keyboard around and around, up and down, and she'll pull in. We pull 3 names out, boom, 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 that show up on the screen, and we throw the top one out, the bottom one out, take the middle name, and then I'll send you a note. And all you have to do is send me an address, and within a week or 2 or less, maybe if I'm here. Got some busy travels coming up. Some of you know that I'll be painting live on a show in Black Mountain, North Carolina. It's called Canuga Watercolor Media. I'm going to post it again this morning if you're interested in being a part of a live workshop. Actually, I can't even tell you what it costs because I don't know. But it's I think it's probably room and board and all those good things. So it's going to be a little more money than I normally would probably do online, but it should be. We're going to be there. You're going to be hanging out, having meals. We're going to sketch some. We're going to talk about how to sell art. We're going to talk about how to be loose in art. We're going to talk about, as he stops, I got to put 2 knobs on this guitar. There's a knob there. There's a knob there. And then there's a little input for a plug. And then I got to draw this plug. And I'm going to draw this plug with this fountain pen. I want it to be a little heavy. I want it to come down like this. And he's plugged into the bucket. See that? That's pretty cool right there. And let's just put, let's take the 5 and let's put some, once that was top name tossed out. Yes, Pat Lightbody, you were. It'll be a bit easier for you at the future hot chicken grand openings. Well, I don't know, man. It's a scramble. I'll tell you one thing. Woohoo! I mean, honestly, it's a scramble. That's all I can tell you. Of course, I'd use the word scramble, right? Because, well, why? Well, because it's a chicken, right? It's about eggs and chicken and roosters. And okay, there's some strings on the guitar. Maybe I'll put one string down here that he's just really flipped out loose, and maybe there's one that's loose and broken. And his foot's all twisted around here. You can see that. But that's kind of fun if you're thinking rock and roll. Some more cross hatching here. I need this pin right here to do that with. Cross hatching with here. Because I want a little bit of a shadow underneath this bucket. Can you see what I'm doing here? Yeah. And I'm just going to take that and lay some water to it right here. And here's where that little blue and a little purple will come in handy. just to help create that that whole shadow. That's too much. If you make a mistake, you just go in while it's still wet and you erase it with a paper towel, for heaven's sakes. And so this is going to be my painting for the one I'm doing that's is a bass player for the band. So this is a lead guitar player that we'll just let kind of float off. I'm going to do some more little pieces of feather out there and give him a little bit of there's this. I think that needs a touch more red. That was pretty, had a lot of bit of water, so I'm going to go back now that this dry a little bit, throw some more water in there, and then I'm just going to go in here and hit some red spots. I'm going to go get a little bit of blue in my brush and do a little bit of that around it. And maybe he's knocking some rust off of the bucket, so I got some of that, and maybe a little bit of Payne's Gray just down here to muddy up the rock and roll floor. All right, so there he is right there. The guitar is still a little too neat, so I'm going to come in here with some little white and scratch it up a little bit right in here, just with some of that. I'm also going to put a little bit of this white splatter right up here in his beak. There we go. Just let it pop off the top like that. Okay, so I'll come in and grab some of this, and then come in and clean this up around here, just so it looks like it ties in a little better. Drop some of this brown right up there. See there? Made it back to the guitar so it just didn't stand out. You didn't know if I was going to do that or not, did you? Did it. Come back on these. Toenails. And so Roodoodles, play it again in G. Okay, so there we go. Get a little bit of this in here. He probably needs a strap coming down here on top, and then the other part goes from here back this way. Ha 9:55, I'm almost out of here. Okay. All right, so there you go. So this is going to be the giveaway on Wednesday. I'm going to put a little date on here. I'm going to put February 1st, 2023. Okay, and I'll sign it here also, just Roodoodles. All right, there you go. That's going to be the giveaway on the 1st. All you got to do on the 1st, I'm going to pop it up that morning, and it'll just be there for a little bit because I'll probably have another auction piece out on Wednesday before I head off to a business meeting. Got 2 meetings that day. I'll keep you posted on my schedules. Tomorrow, I am live on a Patreon class. It's not the first of the month yet. It's the last, so that'll be the following week. It's the first Tuesday of the month is Think Like an Artist. Tomorrow is Good News Gospel for those of you Patreon members. I'll go to my Patreon page right now if there's anybody out there holding that has I think there's one person who's had a hard time who just signed up a week or so ago and has had a hard time collecting. I'll make sure you have that connecting. I'll make sure you have that. What time Wednesday? I'll post it early Wednesday morning. And so all you have to do, it'll be posted on there. It just won't be in the top post. I'll leave it posted up so you can come in. All you have to do is say, put me in the drawing or your name. You don't even have to say anything. If you feel like sharing my page with your friends, please do. Say, hey, I'm sharing this today. You know, and you think, well, why would I want to do that? Because that means that there's more people who may want to draw it. But it, I give one away a month, and it just helps my marketing of people finding out. who I am and what I do, and that helps me continue to do more art. So that's the name of that game. It is a marketing game. This one sold last night, and it'll get invoiced today. And this one, I'm going to put a big old B with this one and finish it up. So I've got 2 minutes to go. It's 9:57, so I've started 1 hour ago. So I usually go, and I'm going to just now take this and pen and just put a couple more little, well, of course it's not working. Take my 7 and just put a couple more little spots here, just like this, just to make that a little rougher with some dark in there. I like that little dark. I'm going to touch it with water. You know, you never know when to quit, but I'm going to quit within 1 minute. Here it is. Look, just put a little bit of water there, and I'm pulling some of that ink down. Can you see that? It's just coming down into here. And it creates a little more shadow underneath. I like that. There's something about, you know, we always want to just draw a bright line between the flower and the green. And no, there's always something there. A little lighter up here on top. Just a little light yellow just shining in the sun. Okay. All right. Let's see. I'm looking for questions if there's any more, so just give me a second here. See you tomorrow. Good news. Thanks, June Jones. Appreciate that. Quoshi, Irene, Mary, does it go the other way? Mary Quoshi, maybe. And I think you're posting from somewhere way off. I appreciate it. Karen Bender, I don't know if I said hello to you, so thank you. Becky Bailey, Kathy Dietz, Pat Lightbody, Sue Harrison again, Elaine Barnett, I may have missed you. Ricky, I may have missed you. Marina Moore, thank you for being on the show. Donna Buckley, yes, I finally said it. That yes and all those exclamation points means he used some Payne's Gray. Okay. Make an apple crate amp with a peep on it, David. I often do, and that's holding its own for the store for sure. Apple crate amps, I remember them well. I was an old PV guy too, so I go back to those. In fact, I did have someone come up at the show and say, what the heck are those fins on that speaker? What are those things that go out like this and they look like they have holes in them? And I said, that's a Leslie speaker. And someone said, a who? And I said, you people better go back and listen to your old time rock and roll. You know, the Hammond B3 organ had Leslie's on both sides that spun around. So I just put 4 of the boxes. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Speakers went around. So it's kind of fun. And my organ player, his name is No Stops. And my saxophone player is Buttermilk because he ain't that smooth. And then, of course, the bass player is Low D. And so all those have already been registered out, and that's kind of fun. So there's going to be showing up on the walls, and I'm going to do some time lapse for them for their videos. And I'm going to put a bee on this and turn it loose here in just a minute. I'm going to do a honeybee, I think, coming in right here in this. Now it's dry, so I'll paint him in there, and he'll be fun. He'll be bee number, I wrote it down this morning so I wouldn't forget. He'll be bee number 845. Whoa! So he'll be bee number 845. And here's what I've learned about watercolor. I don't do prints. I do originals, but these big ones will be prints simply because to get the detail that I want and the water flow that I want and the look I want, I'm going to do them smaller. And then I'll high-res scan them, and then I'll take them to a digital printer, or they will, and have them blown to the size that we want to put on the wall. We didn't want to paint them on the wall, and we didn't want to hang them in frames on the wall because we want it to look like it's a social media place for people to come in. And if they ever change that wall, they don't have to worry about destroying original art. Even if I went in there and tried to do them in another type of paint, a gouache or maybe an acrylic, they would go like, well, why did we paint that on the wall when we could have moved it over here? So this way they just reprint and move it again. So that's kind of, they pay for that option. So those are questions that you have like that. And that's kind of fun stuff to talk with them. They've just been pleasant people to work with. And it's been good. All right, get away from that flower and paint a bee. And I'm out of here. Thank y'all for being a part of this show. And she looks like my baritone Telecaster. Yeah. Got a little wide berth up there at the neck, so I appreciate it. I knew you would have had to been a musician to say apple box crate, because who would have said that? Okay, nobody. So, all right. Thanks, bunch. It's time to get out of here. I always go off on a little theme music, and it's theme music I wrote myself. Here it is.